time doing a webinar, and I am a little nervous because it's our first time. It's the first time that we're doing anything makes us a little nervous. And I think that's okay. That means we're human, we're learning, we're stretching beyond what we thought we needed, thought we knew already. And we're going into uncharted territory. As a sailor, I have to say, I've done that lots in my life, and I've always returned back to land. So I know with all of your help and smiling faces, you're going to help me along through this process of networking and understanding what networking now means to the new, what we're living through, this new point in time. I do want to get back to the simplistic ways of networking, but I still want to address the ways that we are being almost forced to look at new ways to network, whether that be social media, not being able to hold hands, not being able to hug people, those types of things. I pray will come back, but for now, in the meantime, we need to keep networking. We need to keep our name out there, and we need to keep in practice, because when that light goes back on again and we're right back into the normalness of whatever that looks like in your world, it's going to be coming on like a tidal wave of goodness and business. And so this is our time to get ready. This is our time to get organized. And I want to give you guys 7 tips that you may just want to look at. You might have already mastered them. And if you have, great. But if not, it's a good time to look at them, see how you're doing them. How can you tweak them? How can you make them a little bit better? And how, most importantly, you can customize them for your own self, because there's no right and wrong answer to networking. There's no right and wrong way of keeping your contact base. I'm just going to share with you now what works for me. And you can say, that doesn't work for me, or I have a better way. And if you have a better way, then we're going to be all ears at some point. We want to hear your better way. The whole idea behind networking, and I pulled up a definition so that we're all singing from the same song sheet, as one of my mentors likes to say. I love that saying. We're all singing from the same song sheet. Meaning networking is the exchange of information or services amongst individual groups or institutions for the purpose of productive relationships for employment or business. Now that's according to Webster's dictionary. That's a broad definition of networking. I've had a lot of students in my classes say to me, in business or any of the classes that I have taught, I love doing what I love to do, whether I'm a creative person cooking, or I'm a creative person taking photography, or I'm making cakes, or I'm making videos, or I'm doing something creative, or even business, anything. They're really, really comfortable. But guess what? When it comes to networking, they get this look on their face like you've just asked them to stand in front of 1 million people and say something. It can be a horrifyingly frightening place to be, and we don't want you to feel that way. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this free webinar, is to say to you, you don't have to be afraid of it. I want you to make a customized way for you to network with people that it makes you get excited, that when you wake up, you go, I get to go to a networking meeting today because I've got my 3 tools that you use that work for you. So I'm going to start with one of the most effective ways that I find networking works for me, and that I'm able to get more clients, and I'm able to polish my pitch, which is say what I want. That's what it's about, saying what you want. You have a very short amount of time to do that. So the more things that you can put in your tool chest, meaning preparing yourself for, the better off you're going to be. One of them is a name tag. Again, let me see if you can see my name tag. I just have a very simple name tag on today. It says Tracey. Can you see that, Natalia? You can? So we all have different ways of being creative with our name tags. I brought a few for you to show you. This is a fun one that I had made up, and it's just a canvas. Can you see that? So it's a magnetic name tag that you can put on. If you go into a bank, you often see name tags for people, and you can make up and create your own. You can have fun with it. You can do whatever you like. We usually put it on our chest, because when we shake the person's hand, that's the first place they look. Besides your face, they look to your chest to see what your name tag is. You can present yourself in whatever way you want that to be. And there's really no wrong or right way. Why I like name tags is because it keeps you, as the person wearing the name tag, to be very brief with who you are and what it is that you're in that person's presence to say and do. You keep it very short in terms of, my name tag says who I am today. And if it happens to be that you're in the business of a photographer, I know we have a few photographers on the call, put that title down there, photographer. If you're in training, I want you to claim that name. I have a lot of students that say, well, I'm not a photographer yet. I'm not an artist yet. I'm not a graphic designer yet. Claim that title, put it on your name tag. No name tag police is going to come and arrest you. Trust me. Claim it. You went to school for it. You learned, you mastered the skill. If you are a photographer, if you are a entrepreneur, we believe you. So go ahead and claim that name, make a name tag for yourself. I want to get on to another tip of being organized. This is what I see often mistakes happen, and I've done it a million times and I'll continue to do it. And this is why I remind people about this. Stay and get organized with your contacts. This is an example of my networking contact list. If you can see, it's a lot of pages. It's an Excel spreadsheet. You probably can't read it. Doesn't matter. You don't need to. However, the point is, get organized with your network, with the people that you meet. Treat every business card, whether it's in a book that you have. I have about 20 of these books, and they're business cards. That's the way it used to be done, business cards, right? Name tags, right? Well, we're still going to be doing that, but in a different form going forward. Some people like electronics information. Here's the trick. If whatever it is that you're doing right now, if you could pick up the phone and call a caterer in one phone call, you're organized. If you can pull out a business card of a photographer that you need because your niece is getting married and she needs a photographer, you're organized. If you, the plumbing just went, I don't have a plumber, what am I going to do? If you have a Rolodex or something where you can go to and pull up a number, you're organized. If you're not organized, this is a great time to do it because we have a little bit of extra time on our hands, don't we? Get organized. You don't have to start with a big long list. That list I showed you is 20 years of my networking. And I just knew early on when I was a student, my bosses told me, you need to network. I didn't even know what that meant. It simply means finding one or more person in your realm, in your world, in wherever you go to network with, to get to know. Let them know what you're doing. And sometimes that's awkward because we're not taught that. We're really not taught that too much in school. We're more taught to listen, do our homework, listen to the teacher, right? And now we're being put on front center stage, and now we go, oh, what do we say? What do we do? This is why I'm giving you some simple tips to give you a little bit of confidence, to make you feel like you have a cape on your back. That's what I want you to feel, like you have that cape on your back. Jeannie Becker, a friend of mine, Fashion Television, she talked about recently, she has a bracelet that she wears, and she said she's worn it for 30 years in the fashion business. I didn't know this about her. I just learned on, I think, Instagram. And she says, it makes me feel like Wonder Woman. And so, like, why not do something that makes you feel powerful? So get that ring on that makes you feel good. Get feeling good so that when you walk into a room, you feel comfortable and grounded. And nowadays, anything goes. We see people wearing whatever they want to wear now. You can wear whatever you want. You can do whatever you want. When you're networking with people, you're better off being yourself. You're better off being who you authentically are. If you are an artist, for example, like Miss Natalia, who's bringing this Zoom call to us today, who's our fabulous producer, when I see her sometimes and we're maybe crossing paths or whatnot, I'll see her in the street and she'll have paint on her hands, and she'll go to hug me, or I'll go to hug her, what have you, before all this happened. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, I have paint on my hands. And I go, yes, you have paint on your hands. It means you're doing what you love to do. It means you've just painted something, or you're just about to paint something. And when you're doing what you love to do, there's this infectious energy about you, right? And you know what that feels like. You know when nobody's looking and you're doing what you're really meant to do and you're really happy doing, that people feel that. So that's the time to do exactly what we're talking about now, which is networking. So if your outfit is got food stains on it because you're a chef, so be it. That's who you are. And so I want you to really be who you are. This is the greatest time of all time to really come out, because we're going to come out at some point soon where the light switch is going to go on and we're back in business. Maybe gradually, maybe slowly, but it will come at some time. And who are you going to be? Who are you going to be when that happens? You're going to be the graphic artist that you know you are and love to do. You're going to be the photographer that you've been for maybe 10 or 15 years, but better and smarter and happier, and so thrilled to be out in the public and be sharing with people. So that time is going to come. Now we have time to get organized. And I'm going to give you some more tips on networking 101 that's going to make it easier for you. I really don't want this to feel like a painful process. It is a necessary evil, they say, in that, do you have to do it? That's for you to decide. You're the boss. You're the entrepreneur. You're the business owner. You're running your own show. So whatever you say goes. If I can make it a little easier for you, though, to get that next job or get that next client, I want to do that for you. Word of mouth is one of the best ways to do that. Word of mouth. I'm going to give you a real life example. Just happened to me on Sunday, this past Sunday. A girlfriend of mine who has been one of my best gal pals for 23 years. I had to look it up on my phone. 23 years. She's known I'm an artist and I paint. She knows that I'm a teacher and I teach. She knows that I'm an entrepreneur. She knows this. But we're friends. We go walking dogs and we do our friend thing. We've never done business together. 23 years. She asked me on Sunday to do 2 paintings because she just built a new house and wants 2 new paintings. I went, pardon me? I didn't hear you. You want what? Not just 1, but 2 paintings. Are you kidding? This is crazy. I've known her for 23 years. And it has nothing to do with me doing anything incorrect or wrong. It has to do with timing. And I do want to talk about timing. It's not your timing as your business. Your business. You are your own business. You are running the show. It's not your timeline I'm talking about. It's your customer's timeline. They might not be ready for your artwork. They might not be ready to become a mentee to your mentorship that you're offering. They might not be ready, but when they're ready, you want to be center stage, ready, willing, and able as a business owner. Your shop wants to have that sign that's saying, open, I'm open for business. The other thing I do want to mention is that networking is very important to not only the new entrepreneur that's looking to build business, but let's say a seasoned entrepreneur who's been in business. We have Sandra Valente, I know, on the call here somewhere. She's a photographer. She is one of the busiest photographers I know. She's hard to get, but if you can get her, she's amazing and brilliant. And that just speaks to her talent. She, as an example, who's at, say, from time to time, most of the time, at 100% capacity. This is important for you as a business owner to know this. If you're at 100% capacity, congratulations, kudos to you, you've worked hard, but guess what? Life doesn't work at 100% all the time. So I don't mean to say it's going to go down, but it does go down, okay? It goes up, meaning if it's 110%, you can't serve 110% of your clients. You hit a ceiling, right? And then you create a waiting list, right? So Sandra has a waiting list. You have to wait for her because she's at 100%. Well, if it goes 100% to 10, 120, it can also go to 90 and 80. One of the most valuable lessons I learned in networking and running my own business was your client base, whatever percentage it is of your capacity, 20% of it over time the people will move away, not your control, has nothing to do with you. People move out of the city, out of the country, or they'll leave you because they no longer need your service. And so if that's the statistics, 20% is going to be dwindling, not dwindling, but moving away from your service. You need to constantly fill up the tank, the gas tank. so to speak. So continue to get leads, continue to networking. I get a lot of questions from students saying, how much networking should I do and how much is too much? If you're overwhelmed and you start to sweat when I say that question, you're doing probably too much. If that frog goes in your throat and you're starting to think about networking the next time you go to a meeting, then there's something off. You want to feel good about what you're doing, whether it's a BIA, Entrepreneurs of Port Credit, a Toastmasters, a meetup, any kind of group where you're going to network. I think the happy medium for me is 1 to 3 a week. After 3 meetings in 1 week, I have lots of business cards. I have lots of follow-up to do. I have a lot of people to contact to make sure that you complete the networking cycle. So let me talk about the networking cycle. It starts at number 1 up here at the beginning of the circle, which means I've met a person I've never met before. That's the beginning of a networking meeting. You've met them at the top of the circle, right? And what your circle looks like, and everybody's circle is different, but you want to complete the circle in order to complete the transaction. Because if I meet you and I don't get your name or your phone number, or your business card, or any way to contact you, then that circle that I'm talking about kind of just broke off, right? And that's okay. That's an acquaintance and you may see them again. If you do, you see them again, you'll remember, oh, I'm going to ask them next time for their digits, as we used to say back in the day. Or can I call you sometime for coffee? Or can I pick your brain about being a graphic designer? I have no idea what that's about. Can I ask you a question? Can I? So the first step is meeting the person. The second step is organizing yourself so that you have your name tag on. If you're in business, if you're open for business, have a name tag on. Have your business card available to you on your person. I always have 3 business cards on me at pretty much any time, because as I said, the rule of 3 works for me. After 3 business cards of giving them out, I will go back home and complete working on my circle, which is contacting them 3 times by phone, text, LinkedIn, Twitter, whatever it is your favorite way of connecting with people is. You want to do that 3 times. Why do I say 3 times? Because we're living in the age of technology. Technology doesn't always work the way it's supposed to. Sometimes their Wi-Fi's down, sometimes they're on vacation and you're not. There's so many reasons why, but if you hit at that bat, you know, the baseball 3 times, you're willing to hit at least the ball once, meaning you're going to make a connection at some point. Phone calls are my favorite because people answer the phone and they go, why are you calling me? Nobody calls anymore. So if your style is to do something different and out of the ordinary, and that's your style, do it. You're not doing anything wrong. You're simply saying, is it a good time to talk? I recently have a new friend. We all have a new friend, Karen Kelly. She joined our entrepreneurs group and I saw her name was new and I saw her smiling face, and she had on her Facebook open for opportunities, business opportunities. And what another great way to network. Put your, whatever it is that you want on your Facebook page under your title, you know, where it says your name and then it says your title. I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but there's an opportunity for you to put your title and or something about yourself. Put what it is you're looking for. She said, I'm open for opportunities. So did I then feel like that's an open door to call her? And I did. And we talked for an hour on the phone about all kinds of crazy graphic related art stuff and friend stuff and Port Credit stuff. And it was awesome. If your style is to Instagram and somebody's not on Instagram, this is where it gets a little tricky. This is where I want to spend the most of the time that we have left talking about what I call preferred method of communication, not yours, the new person you're just talking to. So you've met someone for the first time, okay? They're a complete stranger. You're in the networking mindset right now. You're building a business, you're growing your business. You understand you need to network to grow your business. You get that, and you're all willing to do that. And I want you to ask the question, Michael, how do you like to communicate? What's your preferred method of communication? And he might tell you what he doesn't like. That's great, that's fine. But tell me what's your preferred method of communication, because you know what? If he says Facebook and I don't listen to him, or it just somehow doesn't, I don't take that information in, then not only am I telling him I'm not listening to him, but I miss an opportunity to connect with him, right? So when someone says, what is your preferred method of communication? Take that business card that you just got from them, or when you're putting it in your phone, I do this, this is my trick. I put their phone, their name and phone number in my cell phone. And beside their last name, instead of just put their last name Smith, I put Smith. I put the year that we met, so 02 or whatever it is right now, 12. Then I'll put where we met, and then I'll put Facebook. So when I do, and I am ready to reconnect with them, I know that I'm going to connect with Karen Kelly, for example, on Facebook. I'm going to reach Michael, another new friend of mine, on Instagram. I'm going to reach Natalia if I really need to get her on text. So asking people what is their preferred method of communication, then documenting and writing it down, and then honoring that. Doesn't mean that you won't eventually expand their horizons and go on to have a great Facebook relationship and Instagram and WhatsApp and all these other technologies. It means to you as a networker, you're listening to what they had to say, you're staying organized, and that you are in business to make business, make friends, and it really does make a big, huge difference. You will get customers that way. I can't believe we're almost up out of time. I do want to bring up a few other things, a few other places that you might not have considered going. I'll wrap it up. Meetup.com. It might be an old technology, but it's still there. It's still a great platform. What I love about Meetup is you can type in what you're interested in. Ducks, bird traveling, boats, whatever it is you're interested in, and it will tell you geographically all the people around you within whatever radius you tell that program, a mile, 10 miles, 100 miles, of all the people that are meeting around you that love those things that you love to do. I stick to the same thing. I've been saying this for 20 years. Do what you love what you do, and the universe, everybody around you will support it. Because when you're in your trueness, when you're doing what you love to do, and you're painting and you're creating, and you're in that crazy creative place, I call it, stay there. We need more creative people. We need leaders. You're leading a pack of people that you're leading a pack of creative energy that this world needs. And guess what? The people that are not, they're looking to you as an example. And I'm asking you as a creative person, as an entrepreneur, as a human being, lead by example, do what you love, and you'll love what you do. I'll end on that note. Thank you. Thanks for being here, everybody. We're going to open it up to questions and answers, and it's only 1:28, so I actually ended up early with Natalia's help. Awesome.
Good job. Thank you so much, Tracey. You are always a wealth of knowledge. Since I met you, I've always been amazed at how often I get to connect with such a wonderful being who has just so much to give the world. So we're going to have a question period of 10 minutes. I wanted to know, and just unmute your guys' selves for like 1 second, if you guys all know how to raise your hand in Zoom, because I know some people don't know how.
Not really.
Okay, so Michael knows how. I know Michael may have a question for Tracey. Okay, so I'll just say, oh, see, Micheline also does know how. So I'll just guide you guys through how to raise your hand, because it's an important thing to know when you go into these webinars. And I just learned it the other day, like literally. So if you go down to participants at the bottom on your little bottom bar, and you click that, it comes up on the side, just like your chat. You can have your participants at the top and your chat at the bottom if you click both of them. Open. Now, if you go to your own name in the participants list, there is an option in there for you to raise your hand.
And you can lower it too. You
Yep.
can raise it and lower it. That's cool.
And this is how a lot of question periods are done. So if anybody actually, so we'll get everybody to lower their hand. I love that you all are doing it. And if anybody
Great
has,
student.
if anyone has a question for Tracey though, please keep the hand up. We're gonna take 3 or 4 questions.
So we learned how to raise our hand and lower our hands electronically. Who would have ever thought? This is beautiful. Love it. Thanks for that little mini lesson, Natalia.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna take Michael's question first.
Okay.
Hey, how are you? One of the
Hi,
thing with
Michael.
networking was always you would go and shake someone's hand, make eye contact with them, and get a feel for how they were by their body language, the way they talked, and the way they shook your hand and everything else. How do you get that feeling now with technology? How can you substitute getting that feeling and vibe from a person when it's so impersonal now?
It's a great question. I have to say that this Zoom technology has done miracles for helping with body language, with helping whether or not that person is engaged with you to do business. Because if they, for example, are unwilling to get on a Zoom call with you just to have a coffee, that's the way I see Zoom going, where it's a real casual, hey, you want to have a Zoom call? And if people say, I've never done that before, well, would you like to learn how to do that? I'll teach you. After the third, and then I'll ask again, okay, I understand. Would you like to have coffee on Zoom? I know it's the new way. You make light of it, make a joke of it, but make an appointment to meet somebody on Zoom. It costs you zero money. There's no downside. You will be teaching them how to get on Zoom. That's how I've learned to now be doing my own webinar. 6 weeks ago, I said, what is Zoom? Literally 6 weeks ago, I was like, what? And it's like any technology, if you take the time to learn it, the people are there waiting for you. The people are ready to do business with you. I think you can pick up a lot of business body language rather by just doing what we're doing right now. I can see if the person's listening. I can see if they're writing down the information that I'm giving them. But really, it kind of goes back to the old adage of, do you want to be my friend? When you were in school in a play yard, right? If the person ran away, then guess not. But if the person engaged with you and said, yeah, let's go get something at the cafeteria, it's a dance, so to speak, and you need 2 partners to dance. So to do the dance of networking has a lot to do with just using your intuition, using your common sense, but using your gut feel. It's just in a new way. And we're so blessed really to have this Zoom available to you. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. If you really are not comfortable doing something, that will speak to your presence. If it really makes you feel uncomfortable talking on, for example, on Twitter. Twitter. It's just not maybe it will be my thing eventually, but just never been my thing. So when I post on there, people say, well, you made a mistake. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm not into it. That's all. And it just means it doesn't ring true to me. Instagram, I didn't know anything about Instagram about 3 months ago. And someone said to me, if you want to do business with me, you need to do it on Instagram. It's my preferred method of communication. So I said, okay, I'm going to have to learn how to do it. And now I'm on it just as much as I am on Facebook. So embrace new technology, embrace what your customer or your new friend is having to say, and also know that it does take, my rule of thumb is 7 to 10 times of engagement, of conversation over however long that period is. Could be a day, a year, 10 years, or in my case, I just told you 23 years, my friend asked me to do a painting. So 7 to 10 times is usually what it takes. And that just kind of gives you a little bit of a break. It doesn't have to be an end all and be all if you don't get the sale. When you're not asking for the sale is when it comes. Thank you for the question, Michael. I hope I answered that.
Yeah, thank you.
I was going to take Saul's question next, but I think we lost him.
Okay.
Does anybody else have a
Probably
question?
another question. See, Micheline?
Aha, Micheline. Go ahead, Micheline.
Thank you. Let me just put myself on break here because I'm at work.
She's multitasking, this entrepreneur extraordinaire.
I also have a job. I was listening to when you were saying about the Rolodex. So do you have your Rolodex? Do you have like a technical version of the Rolodex? And your business cards, same thing with your business cards.
So my business cards are just a good old fashioned business card system. You know, I have several books and I just label them. I put them in the order that I meet the person. I put the name of I put notes all over the person's business card with the goal of collecting another business card from them and admitting to them that when I met you, I had so many nice things to say about you. I wrote all over your business card. Can I have another? And that always gets a chuckle and a laugh out of them. They said, you wrote all over my business card. I said, yeah, because you told me you love dogs and you love sailing and we have so much in common, but can I have another one? So I collect, you know, a couple and I'll put it just over top. I'll put the year that we met and where we met. So Micheline, I have in my contact, I use my cell phone also as my contact base.
Yeah,
I'll put your name. Yeah, I'll put your name and behind your last name and your full last name, I'll put a year that we met and where we met. So when I do run into you, I just have to pull out my cell phone, which we all have on us, and just use that, pull up your contact information, use the last name field of your last name, and it'll say Tracey, which is how I met you at the time. That was your name, and then at EOPC and the year we met. And so I'll be able to at least be able to have that as a basis for our conversation. And if you think about it, you know, when you go to a wedding and you don't know anybody, what's the first question you ask? How do you know the bride? How do you know the groom? You ask questions when you meet people. So when you have something to say, hey, and you can't remember, I mean, we all do that. We see a face and we go, oh, I remember her, but I can't remember from where. And you don't want to guess or ever mistake and call somebody by the wrong name. So that's why I say get organized, whatever organizing system. And if you don't know, just admit it. Say I see your beautiful face. You look gorgeous. I remember you so well because those great glasses you have or whatever. But my name, your name escapes me. Tell me. So just get it right off the table, right off the bat.
Yes, I guess
And
your phone would be your Rolodex now. Your electronic.
Yeah, and I do. And sorry to finish that. I do have an old Rolodex, and I do still have it. But I try and keep updating my ways of connecting with people through online Instagram and things like that. And it's challenging. It's a never ending thing. And you never get to complete it because you keep meeting new people. So if you're missing information or you're losing people's information or you're making some mistakes by calling a number and getting the wrong number, or you're making like little mistakes like that, it's not the end of the world. It just shows you that you need to maybe slow down a bit and take a bit more time, because you're better off having 10 quality leads of people that you know their name, you spell their name right, you have the right phone number, you have the right email address and website, and you know them. It's better to have 10 of those people than 100 people that you sort of know kind of, but not really, and you're making mistakes. So go for quality with your customer base as opposed to quantity.
I like that. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for the question. We have time for one more, Natalia? One more question? Or are we?
Yeah, we've got time for one more question. We got 2 minutes. Anyone else? If not, I've got one.
Okay. You always do. Can always count on you for another question.
If not, I've got one. So for me,
Sure,
I'm gonna ask this question. I'm gonna shoot this one. How do you and I'm asking for the creative or for the artist who is very shy, because we do get a lot of shy artists. How do you break through that shyness? How, like, maybe give us like an exercise or something that you would do when you're feeling shy, because I know we've conversed about this kind of stuff before. So when you're feeling that shyness, because I know y'all look at me and you're like, Natalia, she's like bing bang pow out there, You know what I mean? All the time, you see my face places. You're gonna meet a lot of people and be like, "Oh, Natalia, yeah, I know her. I know her." But sometimes I don't feel that way. So like that shyness, how do you give yourself an oomph to get out of that shyness?
You bring a friend. You bring a friend. You find a friend and you say, Karen, Kelly, I'm going to a BNI meeting and I am so nervous and I don't know even know I need to go. I want to go, but I'm so nervous. Would you come with me? Things are better in numbers, always. If you're that shy, if it makes you feel nervous and anxious, that's okay. That's exciting. It's exciting. Don't let that fear overcome you from not doing something. Find a buddy and just say, I'm a little nervous. Would you come with me? And it's okay to go to a networking event, to go to a webinar like you're on right now and not network. It's okay. I mean, if that's your choice, again, you're the boss. You are your own boss. You're steering your own ship. So if you come out of this meeting today and you have not connected with 3 people, which is what I usually suggest you do in any group, when you're with any group 2 or more, just have that goal, 3 people. Just collect 3 business cards or give 3 away. And if you feel like, I'm feeling shy or I just don't feel like doing it, give yourself the pat on the back to say, I showed up, which is better than sitting on the couch and not showing up. I showed up, which is better than not showing up. I get myself 3 points for that. And you know what? Maybe tomorrow I'll go to another event and I'll do 6 and I'll keep working on it. If you make yourself sick about it, if you make yourself feel anything but a little challenged, a little nervous, but I'm going to do it. And once you do it, you're going to go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've met these amazing people because they told me the same thing. When I gave that example about Karen, for example, she might come back to me and say, oh, I've been looking at that group too. And I was a little bit nervous, but we walk in like we're on fire. We're great. We're doing great because we're together. Power in numbers. And if all else fails, bring your dog because dogs do it every time. It's like if you want to meet a date, right? You take your dog to the park, you meet a date. So it's the same thing works with networking. Find a dog, bring a dog. It works every time. Or a cat.
That's a perfect answer. Thank you so much, Tracey, for sharing your knowledge and sharing your wealth with us. And thank you everybody for coming to the wonderful webinar. I'm going to stop recording here. And if anybody would like to stick around, I will keep this open till 2 if Tracey, if you would like to, for people to stick around if they want to just have a conversation, just like we do at the end of EOPC a lot of the time.
Absolutely. Great idea. Awesome.